Hello, and welcome to Coaching Corner with me, Tracy Forsyth. And today I want to talk about 5 ways to deepen your sense of self. So I just wanted to ask you, do you have a strong sense of who you are and how you operate, what you stand for and what really makes you tick and thrive? And if you don't, then I really recommend you take the time to develop that sense. And why? Because I think having a strong sense of self is really the foundation of true confidence and internal validation. So if you're someone who relies on external validation, so the approval of others, for your own sense of self-worth, then it can be a precarious way to exist because it's not a reliable source, is it? So the stronger the sense of self, the less you rely on external validation. So Malcolm Gladwell, in his book Outliers, talks about needing 10,000 hours of study or practice to become truly great or an expert at something. But how many of us have spent just a fraction of that time becoming an expert in us? So self-study, is what's needed, I think, and that goes throughout life, looking at yourself, developing self-awareness. And also, self-study is one of the very central tenets in yogic philosophy. It's part of the niyamas, which is one of the 8 limbs of yoga. And self-study is called svadhyaya. And it's one of the things that in yogic philosophy they say is really an essential. And handily, another yogic concept called the Pancha Kosha, meaning 5 sheaths or layers, help guide us in that self-study and shed light on who and what we really are. So I wanted to talk to you about that today. The concept of the Pancha Kosha is that we have 5 layers from outside to in that make up who we are. We have our physical layer, that's our body, our flesh and our bones. Our energetic layer, what we're energized and drained by. We have a daily mind layer, so our daily thinking, our mind, that could be like emotions, feelings, likes, dislikes. And then we have a 4th layer, which is our inner wisdom layer. So this would be our values, our purpose, what we know inherently is true and right. And finally is the bliss layer, the center of our being. So thinking about yourself in this way and examining each layer can help you deepen your sense of self from the outside in. So you don't have to be a yogi. It's just a useful sort of framework. And it's sort of like having a map to help you explore your own being. So if you're still with me and you haven't been frightened off by all the yoga talk, and I hope you are still with me, try this exploration of the Pancha Kosha to deepen your sense of self. Okay, so number 1, physical layer. How well do you know your own physical being and what makes it thrive rather than just survive? For me, this is about knowing what food makes me feel best, what kind of exercise and movement I need to feel fit and agile, how much sleep and rest I need, all the kind of physical stuff. So how about you? Number 2, the energetic layer. So have a think about what energizes you, what drains you, what instantly inflates or deflates you. Think about what are your top 3 sources of positive energy and how often are they in your life? If certain people drain you, can you put an explanation as to why? Certain books or movies may uplift you, and can you name why? These are your energizers and your drains. They can come in lots of different ways. So number 3, the mind layer. This is really about your thoughts and your daily inner narrative. What is the story that you tell yourself? What are your opinions? Your perceptions, your worldview. We all look at the world through our own particular worldview? You know, can you identify what your worldview is? You know, examine it from different perspectives. What does your inner critic say? And is it all true? What's going on in your mind? So then we have the fourth layer, which is the inner wisdom layer. So somewhere deep inside, we have this wisdom and knowledge about values, what we feel is right and wrong, what we find purposeful and meaningful. And it's not all handed down to us. Some of this is uniquely our own. So what are yours? What are your values? What do you find purposeful? What does your inner wisdom tell you? What's important to you? You know, what are you called to do? And finally, we have the bliss layer. You know, it's this, the kosha that is the center of our being. It's not really a layer, it's more the final destination, a level of consciousness that is said to wrap our soul, or the Atman in yoga. So inner bliss, the union in yoga, it's the union of body, mind, and spirit. So yoga means to yoke, yoking the body, mind, and spirit. And you can see why you probably need to study the other four koshas to get here. Now, if you already know and experience what bliss is, then fantastic. And if you don't, then ask that question, what is bliss for me? What would it take for me to be at a stage where my body, mind, and spirit were at one? Okay, so I hope you enjoy your exploration of the 5 layers of you. I think it's a brilliant way to deepen that understanding of who you are and get a stronger sense of self. Because once you know that, you can make sure that you're getting what you need, or you navigate the world through a perspective of this is who I am and this is why I react in certain ways, rather than always kind of thinking, oh, there must be something wrong with me. Okay, so let me know if this helps you, and I would love to know your comments. All right, take care.